Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the time given to our group. Today, I will present the material about the basic and principle of curriculum development. A definition of curriculum. Curriculum is a pathway through which students travel during a course of study. And curriculum development describes all the ways in which a training or a teaching organization plans and guides learning. This learning can take place in groups or with individual learners. It can take place inside or outside a classroom. It can take place in institutional setting like a school, college, or training center, and or in a village or a field. It is central to the teaching and learning process. This is according to Rogers and Taylor 1998. And the next, curriculum principles. Curriculum principles are the values that the school's believes will provide the best opportunity for students and their community to success, and what they know to be true based on the context. You can think of curriculum principles as the principles by which you live your life and make important decisions. And from there is this is basic four basis principles in curriculum development. And the first, purpose of the school. Second, educational experience related to purposes. And the third, organization of the experience. And the last, evaluation of experience. The first, purpose of the school. What educational purpose should the school seek to attain? The first, studies of the learners themselves as a source of educational objective. And the second, studies of contemporary life outside the school. And the third, suggestion about objective from subject specialists. And the last, the use of psychology of learning and selection objective.
Okay, I will continue for the basic of the purpose curriculum development. The second one, educational experiences related to purposes. Taylor pays much of attention to arguing for general principles in selecting learning experience. First one of this is that a given objective to be achieved, the child must have experiences that give him or her an opportunity to practice the kind of behavior implied in the object. Second, principle states that the learning experience must be such that the child obtains satisfaction from carrying on the kind of behaviors implied by the objective. Third, general principles is that the reaction desired in the experience are within the range of possibility for the child involved. Fourth principle is that there are many particular experiences that can be used to attain the same objective. Fifth principle stresses the fact that the same learning experience will usually bring about several outcomes. Learning experiences contribute to attain various types of objectives. They develop the child's ability to think, to acquire information, and to develop social attitudes and interests. The third one, organization of the experiences. Tyler points out the criteria to be met in building an effectively organized group of learning experiences. The first is continuity. As you all know, in learning process, it has to be continued, which refers to the vertical set of relations. This means, for instance, that over time the same kinds of skills will be brought into continuing operation. Second criterion is sequence, which is related to continuity. A curriculum element might recur again, but merely at the same level. Sequence emphasizes the importance of having each experience build upon the preceding one, but to go more broadly and deeply into the matters involved. The third criterion, integration, refers to the horizontal relationship of curriculum and experience. Integration will help the child increasingly to get a unified view and to unify his or her behavior in relation to the elements dealt with. The fourth, evaluation of experiences. So in every kind of study or even in the curriculum of education, there must be an evaluation. So according to the Tyler, the basic task of evaluation is to determine to what extent the objects have been realized through the program of curriculum and instruction. His conception of evaluation contains two important aspects. First, it implies that evaluation must appraise the behavior of students because it is the change in behavior which is sought in education. Second, it implies that evaluation must involve more than a single appraisal at any one time as to see if change has occurred. It is necessary to make a judgment at any early point and other judgment at later points to identify changes that may occur. So here, every appraisal needs the changes. So in the curriculum, in the teaching also, the teacher see if the students already, in the first day of studying with and later, example, within 1 year, there may be a change like before, for example, as in the elementary example, in the first grade, maybe the child doesn't know how to read, but when studying throughout the whole year, she will know how to read. That's the changes. As a sequence of this concept, a teacher cannot evaluate an instructional program by testing a group of students only at the end of the program without knowing where they were at the beginning. So it is not possible to tell how far changes have taken place. So it is incredible if a child changes a lot. It means that her brain work or his brain work, and the curriculum and the teaching process of the teacher also is has the final purpose, the goal itself. Thank you. I think so that's all our presentation today. If other friends have the question or what you want to comment or what you want to say something, you can.